I think that this year in both parties is just the epitome of collective action problems. I mean, both parties are going to do things that the people with any power in the party don't want to do, and they can both blame other people for it, but essentially they're all operating as observers, waiting to see what happens, rather than thinking of themselves as actors with a job to do. As you say, that's very much what happened in 2016. It's a little different this time because Trump himself is not actually being very active here. I mean, he wasn't there. He just literally wasn't there, and they all were treating this thing as in a sense a problem to be avoided rather than a reality to be confronted. And they're all trying to position themselves to be in a place to do well if somehow, for some reason, which none of them can name or conceive of, he doesn't end up being the nominee. And that's just a very passive way to try to be president of the United States. I think it does lead to some bizarre kinds of deformations of passivity. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Chris Christie there. He was clearly been practicing that line in the mirror all week, and the mirror didn't tell him that it was really, really lame. And, I think it's one of those things where his style really works when the person he's bullying is actually there to be bullied. It doesn't work very well when that person is just a subject. But, the collective action problem is the story here. And, in a way, they need to think about it in terms of speaking to voters about the choice those voters face. And it's true, if you're going to talk to those voters, you have to talk to them about Donald Trump. Because that's really the question those voters are asking themselves. Otherwise, it's just a show. It's another Fox show where a bunch of commentators are talking about the moment rather than a debate where people are asking for your vote. I think there's no getting around that here. I mean, we're in such a strange situation where, one party, despite itself, is going to nominate a too old sitting president that everybody recognizes as a liability. The other party, not even despite itself, is going to nominate someone who, the most unpopular politician in this moment in American life. Obviously, you have to step back and say, this is what a collective action problem means. But those candidates don't have the luxury of stepping back. They need to play an active role in the story they're trying to dominate. And I think you'd have to say, looking at that debate, that none of them knows how to do it. None of them has figured out a way to be an actor here rather than an observer.